So hello everyone, welcome to the first Career Adventure webinar of 2022. I am Evgeny, Business Development and Project Manager at the LPEA, and I'm here today with Luis, COO of the LPEA. Hello, Luis. And on the other side of the screen, we have Candida Nedog, Client Relationship Manager on Aztec, and Maxence Clerbout, Senior Recruitment Officer in Aztec as well. So welcome, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for inviting us. First of all, it's a great pleasure to be participating and to tell you guys and the participants a little bit about Aztec.
Thank you very much, Evie.
So would you like to make a short intro of yourself? Maybe Candida goes first.
Sure. So my name is Candida Nedog. I've been living in Luxembourg for a very good amount of time, 18 years. I'm from Brazil. And I've been with Aztec for a little over 1 year now as a client relationship manager, as Evie said, on the private equity department. So it's a very enjoyable experience, extremely active, dynamic, and we're going to tell you a little bit more in details about this shortly.
Maxence?
Yes, so I've been joining Luxembourg less time than Canada because I'm here since 3 years in Luxembourg. Before I was working in Barcelona and in France, and in Aztec it's been 6 months, so I'm a bit fresh new in the market here and in Aztec. So I will maybe have a different vision, and maybe it's interesting to confront our point of view with Canada.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. So before we start with the presentation about Aztec, general overview of who you are in the corporate culture and all that, I would like to remind all the participants that you can also interact with this webinar. We have a Q&A area where you can ask your questions or write down some comments, and we will be pleased to come back to them either during the session if they are convenient or towards the end of the session. So share your comments, and we will be very welcome to come to them. So back to you and where you work. How can you describe the corporate culture of Aztec?
Okay, do you want me to get that one, Maxence?
Yes.
I'll tell a little bit, and then I'll pass the other perspective to Maxence. So Aztec is a multicultural group. We've got now 7 offices across different places, Luxembourg, we've got the UK, Channel Islands, we just opened one in the US, and also in Ireland. We've got in Luxembourg, about 500 people with 67 different nationalities, so you can imagine how dynamic that can be. Extremely friendly, for a finance-oriented kind of company, is extremely fun to work here. I know it sounds very hypocritical, but trust me, it's not. People are very friendly because of this diversity in personalities and in cultural backgrounds. It's an extremely nice place to work.
Yes, and I will be totally agreeing with you, Candida. The thing is that before I was working in IT, so I was recruiting people in IT, which is a different world. It's a different way of seeing the things. It's a lot more straightforward. And I was expecting something totally different in finance because it's my first experience in finance. I was having this image of the world of shark and everything. But in the end, when I joined Aztec, I saw that everyone was smiling. You come to the office, people say hello. It's little things like you talk with the managers that are willing to help. I think that last week I got a message to say, "Oh, welcome. By the way, I never had the chance to welcome you." And it's been 6 months that I'm in the business, so it means that really people care, and yeah, that makes the difference, I would say.
That corporate culture is very important, especially when companies are growing. And as we know, Aztec has been growing significantly in Luxembourg in terms of business, but in this case, in terms of staff. How has this been? How has the company culture changed, or what have you done to make sure that the company culture that you wanted to establish stands over time and is transmitted to the newcomers?
Yeah, this is. I will take this one, Candida, because of the figures that I can provide. This is a very good question, and actually, this could be a struggle. I mean, what I want to say is that 5 years ago we were 120 employees, and now we are 500 employees. So you see in 5 years we did time 4, and obviously it comes with challenges. And the first challenge is, as you mentioned, Luis, it's to keep this environment, this culture of company. I mean, and I think that they are doing a great job. Where we can struggle, obviously, it's with the processes, because along with the people, you need to put in place processes. You need to put new teams. For example, people before 5 years ago, they were doing maybe 10 tasks. But maybe now they need to be more specialized. So I would say that is the challenge. We are adapting. It's still challenging. The headquarters are in Jersey, so we're still adapting also with the headquarters. But I would say that the culture, the culture of the company didn't change. It stayed the same, and it's impressive. To be honest, it's impressive. We plan to be 1,000 in 5 years, and we still want to keep this culture. When you talk to the directors, they are very approachable. So that's my vision. I don't know for you what you think, Candida.
No, it's exactly that. And aside from the statistics that Maxence just showed us, I believe strongly that the company has been growing like this and maintaining the values because of the focus on people. Of course, we are very client-oriented, but the focus that the management puts into the well-being of us employees and trainings and adaptation and support, there is something that does not change. You see, is at the core of the Aztec Group in terms of value. So this is already building on a super strong foundation. So when people come in, they come already with the support, they feel the support, they get the training. Everybody, as Maxence said, is very approachable regardless of the levels. And that allows the person to work better, learn faster, get promoted, and so forth and so on. So you see there is a system almost that has a very strong foundation. So it's not difficult to see that in a few years, we're going to be 1,000. We can definitely see this arriving without a lot of struggle.
So Maxence, you mentioned 500 people here in Luxembourg. How many in private equity in particular?
Yeah, so we just reached 200 people. It was the statistics were made in January. So we are now 201, but I'm sure that with the new recruiters that we will give, like the new employees that we will give to Candida and other client relationship managers, we'll soon reach 210, 220, something like this.
Just to close this corporate culture, I think this is a very important point because, business has been growing enormously in Luxembourg, and we see many other companies also operating in the areas that you operate, facing these growth pains sometimes, to control this culture, to make sure that you stick to the culture you want to have. So not all of the companies are managing this well. And Candida, you worked in other firms as well. Maybe you can compare, how do you compare Aztec with the other business environment? We know, Maxence, you came from another sector, say the IT sector, but someone coming from the PE area already, or the financial services, how do you see this?
It's incredible. I have, as I said, I've been working in Luxembourg and living for 18 years, and I've worked in different companies. I also had a solo career as a consultant, so I was in and out of different offices. What you see here in Aztec, as I said before, is a huge focus on people, on the people that work, regardless of the levels. And this is the key difference between other places where you, sometimes regardless of the size of the office, I'm not talking about an office with 1,500 people, sometimes even the smaller offices, just people are just a number. It's just figuratively there without a lot of voice. In Aztec, you don't see that. So people feel valued, people feel supported, as I said, and this makes a whole difference on everything. You see a lot of cooperation here between the teams and also between departments that sometimes don't have anything to do with each other. But if you don't know, you ask and you get it. We've got trainings. We have the Aztec Academy that offers a lot of training. So there is support everywhere, virtual, presential, and that makes a huge difference. And people talk to each other very openly. And that is crucial.
I would pick on that because you were mentioning trainings. So there's a lot of internal investment in preparing people and developing them.
Absolutely.
That's a very dear subject to the LPEA. We also have our own academy to support professionals in private equity. But can you be more specific on what are you offering?
Sure. I'll do like a bird's eye view, and then I'll push this to you, Maxence. We do have the Aztec training, and you've got technical and soft skills training of all levels. There is also a huge support on people who are doing professionalizing training. So you've got not only the regulated study leave, but you've got the support from the managers. You've got some sort of a mentorship. There's so many things. We are highly, highly encouraged, all of us, to do 25 hours of trainings per year on the Aztec Academy. And if you want to attend different conferences, we more often than not, we can. So it's very, very important here, this continuous process of professional growth. Now I'll give Maxence the technical side of this training.
I think you're totally right. The big picture, it's exactly this. I will give concrete examples because maybe for the people that that attend this this session, I would say that if, for example, if you would like to pursue a career in accountancy, we can provide, for example, with the ACCA, which not many companies do in Luxembourg, and we do. And why we do that? Because it's not only that we do it for a reason as well. We do it because we really want that people grow inside the company. Because yes, coming from 100 to 500, 500 to 1,000 doesn't come, with only recruitment. We need to promote people, and why we provide those trainings is because people need to be promoted. But in order to be promoted, they need to be trained. So we try to keep this this cycle. And yes, I mentioned ACCA for accountancy. It can be, if you work in compliance legal, it can be compliance legal that we would not have in the Aztec Academy. But yes, we are also supportive in the external provider training. So I think it's a mix of the two. It's Aztec Academy, which we already have a lot. But yes, ACCA, obviously we don't provide ACCA inside the Aztec Academy, but we can support that
externally.
But, yeah, exactly the cost and the support, go ahead and do it. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems it's not important only people to join Aztec, but also to stay, because this helps you to grow as well.
Yeah, and I can tell you new features that we just put in place yesterday, actually. So we launched the graduate program, where we will recruit new journers in the grade of junior. So we call that grade A in Aztec, but it represents junior. And this graduate program actually will there will be continuous training, so the training will even be mandatory. So it's not even that we give you the opportunity. We want to train you for real, because if you want to pursue a career in Aztec, you will need to have some knowledge, and sometimes going out of the school, you can miss this knowledge. So yes, this graduate program will also give another impulse in this training part. Yeah.
So let's get back to the recruitment part.
Yes, could you mention how many open vacancies do you have at this moment, for example?
Yes, so in the system internally, we have 79 vacancies. So it means that we have 79 roles open in Luxembourg. The thing is that in the website, maybe it will be a bit less. I think it's 49 at the moment, because the thing is that there are vacancies where you can be allocated in different teams. So 79 in reality, but in the website, something like 50.
Okay, and how many people apply in average for each vacancy?
Yeah, this is very various, because junior positions, obviously, we have more applicants. Directors, we also have kind of a lot of applicants. I would say, yeah, per vacancy, I would say 5 to 15. I would say that where we have less applicants, it's the roles, middle managers and senior roles. So here I would say, yeah, it can be 0 to 5. So we need to look also for candidates and to be proactive on recruitment. But juniors, it can be 20, 50, like it can be a lot. It can be a lot, yeah.
And what kind of profiles are you often looking for?
So from junior to director, we are not only...
We refer to functions, because we mentioned accounting, or people focus in accounting, but other areas.
Yeah. So for example, accounting was one part. It's one team, let's say. So we have team accounting and team administration. And I think that here Candida can maybe talk more about what she's looking for.
Yeah, also we've got in private equity, for example, we usually have teams that have the accounting experts and the admin co-sec slash experts. So we normally have these two pillars for each team, okay? So we can give full support to the client. Now, from junior fund administrators and junior fund accountants, these are we normally see easier entry into these positions because it does not require a huge amount of professional experience to actually get to this level. The difficulty for us usually is from the fund administrators and fund accountants upwards, because then the person has to come with a certain level of technical skills at least. Everything is teachable, of course, but we do expect a difference between these two levels, and that is a little bit trickier to find nowadays.
Let's go back. So that's a very important information because maybe we have some young graduates here looking for an entry point, and those two junior fund profiles could qualify as such. What are you looking for in those profiles? Being more open, but what kind of background, academic background that people should have, or if any previous experience?
Previous experience would be interesting in the industry in general. So it would be helpful if the person coming for the application with an idea of the jargons of the industry at least, okay, and some experience. However, the technical skills we can teach on the job for sure for these positions, and we have plenty of trainings, as we said before. The very, very important distinction for us here, and that is for all levels, is the mindset and the attitude that people can bring to the job. Soft skills. Okay, that is something that we look. I cannot tell you if we look more than other companies, but we most definitely look at this. The right mindset, the right willingness to learn, the communication, the attitude, and the will to actually learn, progress in Aztec. This is not a job hopping kind of company. You come and stay here for a year and you go somewhere else because the offer is better. There's a full support here to actually grow. We have plenty of examples in the company where from junior fund admins to directors in a couple of years, the same person. So there is a huge potential of growth in Aztec. We have real-time promotions. It's not something super structured that the person work for like 3-4 years in order to jump from one place to another. So this idea of this right mentality and this willingness to learn and to improve on the job is very important for us.
Especially for those starting. We have someone asking if you have any summer internship program. I would not say this is something forever or someone that will stay 3 years, but do you have any programs for people that want to gain some experience?
Yes, obviously we do internships. Just before answering this question, I just want to give you an example. This morning we had, it's very funny, but I think it will give the clear idea about what Candida was saying. So this morning we had 2 candidates for the same position. It was a junior one. And the thing is that there was a CV perfect, but the person didn't have, we were not sure about the attitude at least. And there was someone else that was, the background was less good, like the CV looked less good, let's say. And we decided to go for the other person with the less good background, let's say, because of the attitude. And definitely the attitude was important. And to come back to your question, Luis, so sorry, can you repeat it?
Let me go back to that first, because how can you define the attitude? It may be helpful for people, either for these or for the other jobs, but
so it's not
attitude.
Yeah. It's not assessing if the person has the right attitude, is has the person the right attitude with Aztec. And I think that the values that we described at the beginning, the person needs to be open-minded, the person needs to be smiling, the person needs to have will, the person needs to be a good person, as we would consider a good person. We want to work with those people, and we work so sometimes from home, sometimes from the office. But we want people that join and that we say, okay, I want to work with this guy, with this girl. Yes, I want to meet him and I want to meet her tomorrow. So it's all about this positivism, I would say, this positive attitude, and yeah, this smile, I would say, most of all.
So for you, number one is personality and character, and then studies and background and experience will follow.
If we talk about junior levels, yes. And after, obviously, the more you grow in the company, the more you need some technical knowledge. So yes, obviously, the more you grow, the more you will need. But I will even say that sometimes between two candidates equivalent, we would go more for the personality, even if the background is less good on the person that has good personality. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the initial question was the summer internships.
Yes. So obviously we propose internships. It's not a strong policy because I will be very honest. We prefer to recruit people fully in permanent contracts, and that they can start their journey. Sorry, with Aztec. So it's not a strong policy, but we have. If you check on the website, I think that we have 2 vacancies open for the moment. So we do have, but it's not 2 compared to 80 vacancies. It's not the major part. Let's be honest.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and we have another question regarding your graduate program. The period, visa sponsorship for international applicants. Yes, this was my next question. If you hire people from non-European countries, so maybe you can give a bit more information about this program, more specifically and in general.
Yes, I would say there is 2 cases. The first case is you are from abroad, like not from the European Union. You need to apply for a work permit, but you don't have any experience. In this case, I would say it's better to enter in Aztec with an intern, so to come as a trainee. Why? Because you will be able to prove your worth. The work permit process, it's something that the company needs to invest. So it needs to invest time. We need to investigate a bit about the background of the person, etc., to comply with the authorities. So we are willing to offer that. In the second scenario that I'm going to tell you now, the person has already experienced that. Yes, it will bring value, and the person will bring value. So we'll be able to spend, I don't know, 3 months, 6 months doing this work permit administrative tasks. But if you are a junior, it's better to enter as an intern, I would say. Yeah.
Okay.
So that brings us to the next question. Actually, someone was asking for that, and it was here in our pipeline. Can you describe your recruitment process? I'm sure it goes through different stages. Maybe it's different for junior and senior profile. So how would you describe it?
Okay, so I will go ahead because it's my part. So the recruitment process is very easy. From juniors to senior managers, it's 2 interviews with 2 managers each one. So in total, you will meet 4 people, plus you will meet someone from the HR team. So usually it will be a recruiter 99% of the time. So either me, either my colleague Josephine. So the thing is that you will pass those 3 steps, and after directly we can go to the offer stage. It's slightly different when we talk about directors, because like directors to associate directors and senior managers, because the thing is that we will do another interview, which is called the panel interview. So panel interview, it's very simple. It's just the fact that the person will need to pass in front of a panel. We call that a panel for the panel interview, and not from the product that they apply to. For example, you apply to private equity, it will be someone from real estate, from compliance, from private debt, that will be in front of you, and that will ask you questions to see if you are fit with the company. And as you can see, obviously the technical background is important, but if it's someone from the compliance team interviewing you from the role from real estate, for example, obviously the knowledge will not be the first point. So the personality is very important, even for director roles, I would say. Yeah.
So in the first interview, you meet already a manager.
Yes. So usually the first point of contact, Evie, would be with recruitment. So with me. So we would have a call, an HR call, and after that, if the first call is successful, you will go to the managers. Sometimes it's directly to the managers. It depends.
Yeah, because I had this question for Candida. In which stage? So we'll meet the candidates, but now it's clear.
At the onset, yes. Right in the first.
Given that some people is watching us from abroad, and I use this opportunity to say that in a few weeks, we also have a major job fair organized by the LPEA, only with PE VC jobs, held digitally precisely to attract and engage with many people from abroad. Is any part of your recruitment process being done remotely right now? Can people pass the first stage remotely and then come to Luxembourg with more certainty or for a second round?
Obviously, everything can be done through Teams. So Teams, Microsoft Teams, we propose interviews by video. So with these two, with Microsoft Teams, everything can be done virtually. So there is no problem in that. A person can pass the process from 10,000 kilometers away, from A to Z, and get offered and sign the contract. After, there's a point that the person needs to move, obviously.
Okay, great. So we have another question. After how many days, after the last interview, do you give the answer to the person that has been selected?
Yeah, how long does the process take?
Yes.
Usually.
Yeah, so the thing is that from the moment that you apply and the moment that you get the offer, I would say most of the times it's between 1 to 2 weeks. The time that we do those 3 interviews, the time that the offer is validated, because it comes along with processes also, like every company. So I would say between 1 to 2 weeks. It can be faster if it goes faster and the candidate is lucky, but I would say most of the time 1 to 2 weeks. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's quite fast.
Yeah, it's fast. It's fast. Yeah.
It is fast. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what about the language? People ask here if you need German, French.
That's a tricky question in Luxembourg because there are so many languages.
Yes.
What is really
necessary? It's very interesting. Aztec-wise, it is very, very interesting. When I was interviewed for this position, everybody that I spoke to, not in one instance, people asked me if I spoke anything other than English. So English is the official language of Aztec. So if you speak, we have 67 nationalities here. So obviously it's a Babel Tower, right? But the main language is definitely English.
So we discussed about recruitment process. How does the onboarding happens then? If we follow all the process, you said you spoke 2 weeks, then people sign the contract, maybe they start in 1 month or 2 months or whatever you agree. How does the onboarding process takes place? Because some people will be moving from abroad, other will already be in Luxembourg. How does it work?
Yeah, so the onboarding, it's quite easy actually, because we have what we call induction week. Induction week is basically for the people to be trained on all the topics along their arrival. So it can be anything. It can be, for example, the fire safety, but it can be AML and compliance trainings. It can be a bit of accountancy. It can be also, I don't know, what is the process to book your holidays. It's everything. You go through everything, but usually you do that your first week or your second week. About the onboarding itself, I would say that it's better to come to the office, even if you have the possibility to work from home as well, but it's better to come to the office, because if you want to experience the experience with Aztec, it's good to get to know your colleagues. People will invite you for lunch. I will pass on you, Candida, because you do it more than me.
Yeah, no, for sure. We highly encourage people when they're starting to come to the office. In between the training sessions, sometimes depending on the situation, on the demand, we can already start showing some real life tasks to the person. So to combine the training with the application of the training, we have a buddy system here. So new joiners, they have a buddy that's the go-to person to ask any technical questions. However, everybody is allowed to ask anybody any information. So this is a very open system. We highly encourage people to do internal networking. It's not just about knowing that you have a team. Sometimes people are working virtually, but really to reach out, to introduce, and to reach out to different teams. So this whole system during the induction week, which is the onboarding of the new employee, it's super important, and it's fully fully structured to make the person actually have a good overview of everything that they're going to use, all the software and also the advantages.
It's interesting you mentioned that you should network within the organization, because someone is asking, how does hierarchies work? And Aztec, there are some companies which are more strict and structured in levels and others more flat. How would you describe your workplace?
We do have different levels of how can I say this, of responsibility in relation to the team. Okay, so we've got from junior all the way to director and the group heads of jurisdictions, etc. But as we said before, people are very approachable regardless of the level. So yes, we do have a reporting line, of course, but you do not see rigidity between the lines, okay, between the different levels. Okay. And it's important to notice at this point as well that we have a very, very varied selection of social events to actually encourage, talking about the internal networking before, to encourage the inclusion and the mingling of everybody that works in Aztec Luxembourg. And once a year, Aztec as a group, we go to exotic locations, the whole group, and we have a whole team building event for 2 days when we get to see our colleagues from different teams. And that is very, very exciting.
That's great.
So you have exotic vacations offsite.
In Greece.
We use offsite.
Okay, what about diversity and inclusion initiatives? What are you doing in Aztec if candidates, when apply, asking you for diversity and inclusion initiatives?
Look, we just, sorry, I'll pass to you, Maxence. We encourage the easy and smooth inclusion of everybody into the system, not necessarily with a hard entry on any topic. There is a good onboarding and a good welcoming of everybody that come in. And I have hardly ever been asked this question during interviews or anything, because it's implicit in the company culture that this is a smooth process. Sorry, Maxence, I interrupted you.
No, you're welcome. Obviously, it's not a question that a candidate can ask directly to a recruiter or to a manager. I don't know, are you diverse? Do you do something for diversity, for minorities, etc.? So they don't ask the question, but the questions are more directed like this. They ask, what is the language of the office? Am I allowed to speak other languages? And I always say yes, obviously. With my colleague Josephine, she's French speaker, native speaker. I'm French native speaker, so we speak French. With Candida, we speak French as well, because Candida speaks a lot of languages, and she was deceived when she was not asked how many languages she was speaking. But so yes, obviously you can speak all the languages that you want, but to include everyone, I think that the most important is that English stays the first basis. I know that sometimes I've seen that in some companies, you have some teams and it's really like German team, Spanish team, like a French team. Here, no, you cannot even say. And I never even ask the candidate, okay, do you ask another, do you speak another language? Because we don't discriminate through this. So inclusivity, I think, begins by the language.
Okay. Just a question to Candida, as she's working in private equity. If someone would like to change his career path from something else to private equity, do you think that he needs to downgrade in a salary or in a, in the title?
It really depends. If you think about this, it depends on the position that the person holds right now, whatever she is doing, and the kind of baggage that the person can bring to the private equity industry. Because some knowledge of corporate law, for example, in Luxembourg is never lost. If you know about corporate law, you can actually, you don't come into private equity knowing nothing. You see, so it really depends. Not necessarily that the person has to downgrade the position. So many things need to be taken into consideration. The current role, the current knowledge, general knowledge, and the trainings that the person is willing to actually undergo. So I would say that is a case-by-case situation, but definitely possible.
And next to this, we have a question from Felipe. How is horizontal movement in Aztec? For example, moving from one area to another within the company?
Totally possible. And then I'll let Maxence reply to this one in more technicalities.
No, it's totally possible, and it joins a bit the questions that you were saying, like, I mean, that you were answering before, Candida. You can come to private equity having other product. I would even say that it's even encouraged the internal mobility, because the thing is that if you see yourself in Aztec on the long term and being sitting on the director seat, you need to have different visions. For example, I could not sit on the director chair having only seen my perspective from HR. So I would need to go to another department. It can be, for example, for me, it could be from HR to I don't know, marketing. It can be communication. It can be legal. There are some bridges for me. It would be harder, obviously, for me that doesn't have a technical background to go as an accountant. It will be very hard. I would maybe not bring anything of value to the company, and they will maybe say, Maxence, you're nice, but maybe something else. but for example, if we talk about accountancy, you can see private equity, but you can also see real estate. You can see private debt. You can see also corporate. You can see different products. Obviously, yeah, it's encouraged.
Well, one of the things that struck us when we had a preparation call a few days ago, and that you considered was very different from other companies, was the possibility for real-time promotion, meaning there's not a fixed grading system. People really need to show how they perform, and if they are meritous of any promotion. And you don't need to wait for January or February the year after to get the promotion. Can you just explain a bit more of that? Because it's not so common in the industry.
Not so common. I would even say maybe unique. Usually, when you enter a company, the promotions will be, for example, the month of March. And every March, you have the review, and you're promoted or you're not promoted. And if you're not promoted, you need to wait March of next year, or March or December. Like it's just an example. Here in Aztec, totally different. So it means that you enter in March, September, you can be promoted. Like any month you can be promoted. So no matter how much you spend, like how much time you spend in the company, no matter how many years of experience you have, you can be promoted. I can give you a concrete example. Someone coming from another country, not even Europe, coming from outside of Europe, joined us 15th of September, was promoted in February or even maybe late January. So you see, for 4 or 5 months, and she was already promoted, and it was from senior to manager. She didn't have any experience in the Luxembourgish market. She didn't have experience of life in Luxembourg because she was living abroad, but was having the right attitude and was promoted from senior to manager. So yes, RealTime Promotion is unique and very good. I don't know what you think, Candida.
No, absolutely, absolutely. As I said before, we have the whole support for the person to grow, and the pace in which she is going to grow depends pretty much on the employee. So you can have somebody, as Maxence said, that just started, applied fully, showed knowledge, showed experience, and the attitude, and you can get promoted faster. And you see some people that have a certain let's say attachment to a role and wishes to stay in that particular position for longer, will stay in that particular position for longer. So it really depends on the person, which is very empowering, if I must say, because as an employee, the result and your promotion is depending pretty much on you and on your efforts, not in once a year meeting of the high management to decide whether you're good or not only.
What I see is a lot of flexibility, and I think this is very important nowadays.
Yeah.
And we have a question here, if there is any dress code policy. I guess no.
The dress code?
No.
Yeah.
Dress code.
No,
well, look at Maxence. Maxence is exactly as you see him on this webinar every single day. He's super elegant and very on point. You've got people that dress differently. We don't have such a thing, right, Maxence?
Go ahead, Candida. Go ahead. Continue.
You like the compliment, right? No, we don't. It's very laid back. in that sense. Obviously, it does not apply if you're going to meet a client in person. That is common sense, right? But
yes, it's dress as your day. It's the dress code, dress as your day. So usually when people ask me this question before being onboarded, I said, dress as your day. If you think your day is important, is worth of value to put this, put this. If you think that your day is worth of value to put this one, this other one, put this other one. So dress as your day, basically.
I think we have several comments here about opportunities, vacancies, how to join. Maybe we can go to those now. So first question, we mentioned the possibility of doing an internship or applying for full-time. That's someone asking, well, Yashazvi is asking if as an MBA candidate, he should apply for an internship or for a full-time position, for instance.
Depending on what is the title of the internship, depending on what he or she wants, it can be both. I would say that if you don't have experience exactly on what we are doing and you feel more confident in going for internship, apply to an internship. If you think that, yes, your parkour is worth of value, applying for a permanent role and a role which requires experience, apply for experience, depending on what people want, to be honest, and what people can bring.
In any case, after the internships, as you always have so many open positions, they probably can apply to other open positions once the internship is finished. Another question, could you please clarify a bit if current graduate position applications is for 22 intake? So you have applications for 2022, I suppose.
Yes, so obviously it's 22, but it's not so formalized in, year 1, year 2. It's like RealTime Promotion. We can hire someone in April, we can hire someone in September. For us, we want people. We don't want that people fit in boxes. We want to recruit them to fit in our big box, So I would say that it's not so formal as it is. Like,
yeah, but if they graduate in September, you could already try to sign a contract to start in September, say in October.
Yeah, exactly. We prefer to adapt to when the candidate graduates rather than no, we hire everyone in October because we know that candidates most of the time graduate in September. We prefer to adapt to the candidate actually. Yeah.
That's great. Would you like to share with us and Edmond some open vacancies that maybe you have now, specific roles?
Yes, so I think I would focus more on juniors because it seems that we have more questions related to juniors, internships, so I think maybe it would be more interesting for them. So obviously we have the graduate program for junior fund administrators, junior fund accountants. So the difference is, as Candida was saying, you have client-facing team, which is called administrator, and under the supervision of a client relationship manager, which Candida is. And after you have the team that is doing the accountancy, which is the accountancy team, as easy as it is. And the thing is that if the candidate would feel more will and would like more to pursue his career in the accountancy sector, he should apply to junior fund, accountant graduate program or junior fund accountant private equity, for example, if we stay in private equity. If you think that you would be more with client-facing team, if you think that you are more made to talk with the client directly, I would encourage the candidate to apply to junior fund administrator. And after, obviously, you have fund administrator, fund accountant. So it's growing in the hierarchy, and you have different levels. But if you are junior, yes, you can apply to those 2 specific positions, either accountant, either administrator, depending on what you want.
Okay, great. A very interesting question from Sonali. Could someone with a gap in career apply in Aztec? Are you okay with this?
Yeah.
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. Again, it depends. The person who apply have not been working for a while. We had a case not long ago, a similar case. And yeah, it comes with the right attitude for an opportunity that exists, that we need it. We match the person with the position, and this is it. There is no, oh my God, but you haven't been working for like 2 years. So what?
Life happens,
so, yes, of course.
Okay, I think that we're coming to an end. I have still some questions for you, like important technical skills for analyst positions, entry salary for analyst positions. So we can combine these two questions. Maxence,
and the different departments.
Yeah.
We spoke about private equity before, which is almost half of your staff, but you also have real estate, and do you have other departments?
Yeah, so the thing is that
how do you organize? Exactly.
Yeah, the thing is that to answer the first question about the salary expectations, I would say that it's better to talk on one-to-one and not maybe to reveal the ranges of Aztec. What I can say is that for juniors, we are competitive, and it's not only about the salary. We have a huge amount of benefits, which sometimes if you have a package, for example, I'm saying a figure like this, but if you have a package of 50,000, you can have 10,000 only in benefits, composed with a bonus, with a parking,
trainings, yes,
trainings, healthcare, pension plan, and many others that it can be talked individually. It's the same for everyone. Private equity, real estate, it's the same for everyone, and we try to not make so much difference, because like that employees get the same thing. Yeah.
Okay. Any comment on the technical skills for analyst positions?
Yeah, so the thing is that obviously the perfect candidate would be someone that is in Luxembourg, having knowledge of the Luxembourgish market, on the Luxembourgish legislations, requirement, on networking even. Like, obviously this is the perfect candidate. Luxembourg is a small country. We recruit a lot from abroad. I don't have statistics about this, but I'm 99% sure that we recruit 50%, like more than 50% of our new joiners, they come from abroad. So this is the ideal candidate, but the reality is different. We don't require people to have so much knowledge of Luxembourg, and the things that the technical background would be similar, but not in Luxembourg, would be in other jurisdictions.
Okay, I think we covered the questions that we had in mind. Is there any final word you would like to share with possible candidates out there, or a piece of advice that you can give them, even to apply to other firms, something that can impact their career? We are always very keen at the LPEA to support bringing new people to private equity and venture capital space.
Yeah, through training, mentorship.
Bringing new people to Luxembourg as well. Any particular word you'd like to have to close this webinar?
I would say that the very first step, if someone is interested in coming to private equity, and in this particular case, to come to Aztec, try to avoid online forums when you want to know about the company you are applying for, and go strengthen your LinkedIn profile. Look for people who work in Aztec in the particular area that you want to work with, and then reach out and speak. Hey, I'm thinking about applying for this and that. Do you have any advice, or what do I need? Just informally have a chat. People are very approachable, as we said before. And if you have just as an on-site, you can speak to Maxence or to myself via LinkedIn. We are very connectable, right, Maxence?
Networking is very important. Yes,
it's very, very important.
Make your own network.
Yes, that's the very first place we're going to look into. And so that's the first thing. And that applies also for other companies, not Aztec, but we can only testify for Aztec at this point.
Yes, exactly. I think that I did a conference, I think it was 3 years ago. It was in IT, so it was nothing related to finance. But, it was about how to apply and how to kind of behave as candidate. And I was surprised that the questions were, do I need to do this? Do I need to do that? Should I better do this? Should I better do that? And all the time I was saying, and you, what would you do? Oh, I would do that. So why don't you do this? If it's like that you want to be. So if a candidate is unsure about what is to be done, just be yourself, and it will be all fine, because the person in front of you, no matter if it's a recruiter or not, in the end, will feel if you are natural or not. Will feel, I don't know, if you are reading some notes. It will feel if you are saying something that you don't feel. So just be yourself. And in the end of the day, if you are yourself, you will join a company that will recruit you for yourself, and you will not be frustrated once you are on board in the company. I would just say, be yourself. As Candida said, try. LinkedIn doesn't have any restrictions on how many people you can have in your connections. So you can reach out to anyone. Try it, and people, you will be surprised that people would be okay to answer you, and to say no if they don't want, to say I don't know if they don't know, but they can also tell you yes, okay, why not, give me your CV, or I advise you to do this, or you can reach out to this person. So try.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much, both. We have someone that would like to know the different departments. So if you can just mention quickly.
Yes, obviously. So we have, here we talk about private equity, but we have also real estate, we have private debt, we have corporate, and we have support. So those are the very big ones. But for example, support, it's everything. I'm part of support because I'm in HR, but most particularly I'm in recruitment. So recruitment, HR, support. But support can be also legal, can be marketing, can be everything that supports the company. And private equity as well. You can be working in client-facing team, but you can also be working in accountancy. So it's very big, and you have different things inside the products. We call them products here in Aztec.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, for your profiles, available profiles, people can visit your website. They will find them there.
Yeah, in our career section as well. We have a lot of Aztec vacancies there.
They were published there too. And don't forget, again, we have the LPEA job fair on March 17th. It's free to join, so don't hesitate to register, and see you again in 3 weeks.
Thank you, Candida. Thank you, Maxence.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you so much. This was a pleasure.
Everyone for watching.
See you soon.
Have a nice day. See you soon.
And you. Bye.